girls and everyone in between. Today I have for you a sumo squat tutorial. Now I've been asked a lot of questions on how to perform the squat with proper form, how to engage your glutes, how to prevent injuries, etc. And I will be covering all of that today. But I do want to put a disclaimer out there, and that is that I am not a professional weightlifter. Okay, so everything that I say is not a hard and fast rule. It is just how I like to perform my squats and what has worked for me. You definitely have to modify the squat to fit yourself according to your flexibility, how long your femurs are, whether or not you've had previous spine surgery or injuries before. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel so that I can provide new videos like this for you. And let's get in. Okay, so first things first is that you're going to make sure that your starting stance position is correct. Now you're going to have your feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to have your toes pointing out about 30 to 45 degrees, and this is going to make sure that your legs are in an external rotation and hence engage your glute maximus, which is this giant muscle here. Okay? Now that you have your starting position, we're going to talk about how to go down, okay? So first thing is that you're going to push your hips backwards, and in order to balance this, your torso is going to naturally move forward, and that's okay.
I'm just going to pause the video here because I want to make it clear. Yes, I said that your torso can move forward, but it shouldn't move forward too much. It should still be behind your knees.
Okay, so now that you have your hips pushed backwards, you're going to come down. Once you're here, you're going to make sure that your thighs are parallel to the floor, your knees are in line with your toes, your core is tight so that you're not arching your back like that. And then you're going to make sure that your knees don't cross your toes too much. If it crosses a little bit, that's fine, but if it crosses too much, it could mean that your hips are not far back enough. For example, if I didn't push my hips back, this is what would happen. Okay, my knees would definitely cross my toes, for sure. But if I push my hips back, my knees won't. Okay? So now I'm going to show you how to come up in the squat. You're going to push through the heel of your foot, the back of your foot. You're going to come up. You're going to squeeze your butt. Give me that ugly butt, like that. Okay? And make sure not to lock your knees. Okay, now I'm going to show you a full fluid motion of the squat. Again, legs are wider than your shoulder width apart, toes are pointing out, hips go back, torso moves forward, and you're coming down. Make sure your thighs are parallel to the ground, knees are facing your toes, you're going to have your core nice and tight. Push up through your heel, squeeze that ugly butt, and don't lock your knees. Okay? Woo! Why am I panting?
And typically your squat should look something like this. Another thing I wanted to add in is the type of shoes that you're wearing. You want to wear something that is very flat soled and with very little cushion. And if you don't have shoes like that, I recommend you to actually do your squats barefoot. Just take off your shoes and use just your socks, and that's perfectly fine. Now once you've perfected your squat, what you want to do is to start increasing the intensity of your squats. So now I'm going to show you a series of ways to increase the intensity of your squats. The first is to increase the number of repetitions. The second, I would recommend using resistance bands. The third is to use a dumbbell. Now I have multiple ways of using a dumbbell in a squat. Number one is holding it overright like this. Number two is to have it hanging down, and this is going to get you a better glute emphasis. This is because by holding the dumbbell in a different position, it's actually going to change the center of gravity for you. Another way is to hold two separate dumbbells over your shoulders, and this is also going to help maximize your glute maximus gains. Now, it's going to get a little bit too easy holding dumbbells, and that's when you want to move on to a squat rack. Now I usually use a free barbell over the squat rack, but this gym only had the Smith machine and hence that was all that I could use. But honestly, the technique is the same. So I'm just going to show you how to get into the squat with a squat rack. So when you hold on to the barbell, you want to make sure that your hands are evenly placed across the bar. Then you're going to get under the bar and wiggle your shoulders into the barbell. Notice that the barbell is resting nicely over my shoulder blades on top of my trapezius muscle, and that's exactly where you want the barbell to be. As long as you wiggle your shoulders in and really get it into a nice, comfortable position, you should be holding the barbell in the right position. So notice that I have one leg in front of the other. I'm going to use the front leg to push the barbell up off the rack, and then I'm going to get my stance correct. So remember, wider than shoulder width apart with the toes pointing out, and then get into your squat the way that I taught you just now. So once you're done with all your reps, you're going to gently put your weight down at the squat rack. Now the last thing I want to talk about is reps and sets. I recommend about 8 to 12 reps with 3 to 4 sets each time. I also want to say don't be afraid to add on weight to your squats. But you must always make sure that your squat form is perfect at that weight before you increase the weights. Okay? Always be sensitive to back pain, knee pain, or any discomfort when doing your squats, and make sure that you have a friend around or someone who's an expert to help you correct your squats before moving on to increasing your weights.
So what you've seen just now is how to perform the squat and how to increase the intensity of the squat using different machines or increasing the weights. Now I want to talk about how to maximally engage your glutes in a squat. Yes, squats are full leg exercises engaging all your leg muscles, but there are ways where you can engage your glute maximus better in a squat. Number one, I would recommend you to do glute activation exercises like I've shown you in previous videos. I'm going to insert some clips here. The reason for including glute activation exercises is because you don't actually use your glutes in your daily life, and it's very important that you wake them up with your glute activation exercises before you get into the squat. The second thing is to use resistance bands in a squat. I do think that it engages your glute medius and minimus better, which will round your butt, give you the bubble butt. And then another thing is to make sure to point your toes outwards and to push your hips further back, as this will engage your glute maximus better. I think that's all. Another thing that I want to talk about is why I personally choose sumo squats over conventional squats. Now, of course, the first thing is because sumo squats engage your glute maximus and your medius minimus better than a conventional squat. Another thing is because I have had a spine surgery before, and sumo squats do have a smaller range of motion, which makes it safer for myself. So if you've had previous surgeries or previous injuries, you may want to consider a sumo squat as well. So yeah, those are the reasons that I choose sumo squats over conventional squats. But of course, whatever you do is up to your own preference. Now that is all that I have for you today. If you do like these videos, do remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that I can create more videos like this for you. Also, if you have any questions, don't forget to put it in the comments below and I will definitely answer you. And also tell me what videos you want to see in the future. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!